Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Caliber and Character. I'm your host, Mr. Caliber himself, Fallstorm, and with me, as always, is Little Miss Character herself, the Dictionary Diva. How you doing, Diva?
I'm great. How are you, Volstorm?
Doing well, doing well.
I
Well,
think it's fun that we've revealed our true identities.
well, people probably already figured out from our identities anyway, so I thought, why the heck not?
We do have distinguishing voices.
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
do indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we always do, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. How many times over the past, probably since the pandemic started, have we all seen this sign?
Yep.
Sorry, we are short staffed. Please be patient with the staff that did show up.
Yeah.
It got to be one thing when you would start seeing it in fast food places, but now you're getting to the point to where you're seeing them in corporate offices. What kind of triggered this whole topic with me was I went into the bank the other day and they had like a big corporate made sign that said exactly this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess the question is why? Why are we still going through this?
Yeah. Where did all the people go?
You know, is it really due to COVID? Is it because I know myself there are there's a lot of openings everywhere,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and that may be one of the things contributing to it too is people get into a job and they figure, well, I can't handle this or I don't want to do it or whatever, and there's plenty of openings, so I'll just go somewhere else.
I think that's probably part of it. Um, we forgot to tell our audience that today is July 3rd, and you may hear in the background people celebrating America, shooting off fireworks. So
America.
don't be alarmed if you hear that. Well, there's openings for good jobs too. It's not just, entry level jobs. It's all tiers of the employment spectrum. There are positions open, good positions.
Right. One article that you had
Oh yeah.
brought to
Yeah.
my attention.
Well, and they used to call this the Great Resignation. What was happening beginning in 2020, 2021, where people made the decision that um, either they reevaluated their life and their life choices and how they were their work life balance and made the decision of, well, I'm not going to do this job anymore. But it feels like there's just shells moving around and there's no stability. And that's exactly what this article sums up. This is in PMI.org discussing labor shortages and global megatrends. Um, do you want me to read it or do you want to read
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Okay. There is an exodus of employees and a loss of institutional knowledge happening at organizations around the globe, and it's shaking up the workplace in ways we haven't seen or prepared for. How organizations react will determine whether this is a long term trend or just a reset. I think one thing that this article, at the very headline, the loss of institutional knowledge. And I think that's very significant. Um, when you have a group of people that work together for a while, they know how the organization works, they know the standard operating procedures, and then when people leave, there's just vacuums of knowledge that happen, and people don't know the right way to do things because there isn't someone to go ask anymore because
Right.
everyone is just about as ignorant as they are.
So what you're talking about is a loss of experience.
Yeah.
And even if you're in the same industry, each place is going to do it just a little bit different. Now, may not be that case with franchises like fast food franchises, but I know in businesses, even though you're in the same industry, each office is going to have a different way of doing it. And if you don't have somebody that's been there for a long amount of time, then you're not going to have good consistency, which means you're not going to have good quality control in that office.
Yeah, exactly. And I wonder if we read further in this article if they discuss that loss of quality control and what impact that's going to have on organizations overall, because some some businesses run at such a lean margin that they can't afford the loss of efficiency that happens when you don't have the people in place that know operating procedures. Like there's a loss there of efficiency, and I think some companies are going to go under because of this.
Well, and if you think about other industries like, let's say, healthcare,
Mm,
what happens when you don't have that nurse that hasn't been there for 20 years or that
exactly.
has been there for 20 years?
Yeah. When she's not, or she or he is not there anymore, and can't tell the newbies, no, you don't do that. You do this. Um, no, you'll get sued if you do that. You don't don't do
Right,
that.
right.
No, you'll kill the
As we've
person.
seen,
Oh yeah.
as we've
Oh
already
yeah.
seen lawsuits open up in the
Mm,
healthcare fields with with nurses that have been
yeah.
practicing for years.
Where it can be criminal.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a whole other story, and
Yeah.
that's a whole
That's a
other
whole
story.
other podcast.
Yeah, we won't talk about that one today. But this article, I don't know if you can scroll down, but it says that
You can.
oh, I can.
It's your screen.
What? What? Okay. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. Okay.
There you go.
Now look at that. In January 2022, the US Bureau of Labor Statistics announced that 4.5 million Americans left their jobs in November of 2021, the highest level since the agency began tracking this data in 2000. Quit rate The quits rate once again reached 3%, rebounding to a recorded high first set in September of 2021. Um, wow, that's a lot of people shifting around. That's a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah. I would also add in that because of COVID, a lot of businesses had to pivot to where
Yes.
you had a lot of people having to learn to work from home. Now, this was a concept that I had spoken to some high level executives at some different companies,
Mm-hmm.
and they had told me as far back as the mid early 2000s that working from home was going to start becoming the trend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because so many things had, so many programs, you're able to operate in the cloud, you're able to work from home anyway. You don't necessarily have to take a vacation. You just take your laptop with you and hook up to Wi-Fi or whatever device is afforded to you and be able to access your information and go from there and then just make phone calls.
Right.
Now we're seeing more and more businesses are going to that model because they have less overhead that way. They're not having to pay for an entire building and the lights and all the utilities and everything and all the equipment. They're basically just setting up people at home to be able to do the same jobs they were doing. Kind of like, say, for instance, a call center. Do you really need an office for that, or can you have somebody do it from home?
Right. Right. And that's something larger companies are trying to pivot to make that efficient for them, but some of them are realizing that that doesn't always work with some people.
No, you have, as we've seen, because of everything that went on with the pandemic, you have a lot of people who just want to. They need that social interaction. They need the coworkers around them. They need to be able to do that. Now, some office managers will say that not having them there does cut down on the office politics quite a bit, but
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
same time, you have to measure. Okay, is it more efficient for them to be at home, or is it more efficient for them to be at work? Because like a lot of these school kids did whenever they were doing
Oh,
online learning, how
yeah,
efficient are they at home? Some
right.
people can't handle it.
Some people can't. Some people, they need to be accountable by an outside force rather than internally motivated and accountable. And some people just can't handle it. Oh, that
No,
you reminded me of something else that I
sure.
wanted to talk about. Um, that ties into this. I'm going to share this screen about um, Facebook cutting budgets.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, you heard while you're doing that, you heard what Elon Musk did at Twitter and his
Uh-uh.
other companies. He's basically said, unless you have some kind of special permission, everybody's coming back into the office.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
He was like, no more of this of working from home and wasting time and wasting his money.
Mm,
He's
right.
forcing people to go back in the office. And of course you got a lot of people that are throwing a fit
Oh,
because they like being able to, just get up in the morning and they're, whatever they slept in and just work that way as opposed to having to get up and get dressed, having to take a shower, having to actually
function.
do everything to be around other human beings.
Yeah. That's so funny. Well, I think I've got that article pulled up so that you can share it if you want to.
All right. There we
I
go.
always love how Zuckerberg looks in his pictures. He looks like a robot. He, he, because he does. He looks like a robot. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg warns Facebook staff Facebook will be turning up the heat to weed out underperformers. You might decide this place isn't for you, and that's okay with me.
See, here's the other thing that's coming down the pike that probably not a lot of people have realized is you've got a lot of people that are floating around from job to job because jobs are available.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have a lot of people not filling them. What happens when the economy takes a downturn
Oh, yeah.
and then there aren't jobs available and they still take this mentality?
Yeah.
Then what are
Yeah.
you going to do?
Well, that one fella that I found that we both love, um, what is it? LFR family.
Yes,
That fella. And he was reviewing the Paul Harvey 1960 something.
1965, I believe.
Yeah, and he was reviewing somebody else had made a like a video segment to accompany Paul Harvey's editorial, and it showed people in the food lines and out of work, and people with no clothes and no shoes, just poor. Everyone was so poor.
Yes.
And for 100 years almost, Americans have not known that level of poverty. So if that ever did occur, we have no idea what that would look like now because we're not an agrarian society now.
No,
Um,
we have no idea, and unfortunately, you have a lot of people that had the mentality of not knowing how to work hard, not knowing how to
mm-hmm.
struggle, not knowing what to do if you don't have, you know, I have to have Wi-Fi. I have, which some people would say is a necessity now,
It kind
but
of is.
not,
Not a
you know,
life necessity, though.
it's not like, well, it is a work necessity though, so it kind of is a necessity at this point, but
Yeah.
not having to kind of do without, not having to make choices, hey, you know, do I go out to the club or do I eat? Of course,
Right.
that's a college thing.
Yeah, that's a college thing. I'll
But
read a little.
nobody's having to, nobody's had to make a tough choice.
No, no. I'm going to read this little spot in this Fortune article. This is Zuckerberg saying, if I had to bet, I'd say this might be one of the worst downturns that we've seen in recent history. He said in audio recording heard by Reuters,
Reuters.
Reuters.
Yeah. the dictionary diva. You're supposed to be able to pronounce these
I
things.
should be. I need to go back to pronunciation, the importance of pronunciation. Take my own advice.
That's right.
Um, so recent history for him, I'm sure it looks completely different than recent history does for America. I mean, we're right on the cusp of America's birthday on July 4th.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Recent history for Facebook is what? How long has Facebook been around?
Probably since the early 2000s, but even then, the only way you could access Facebook is if you had a college email account.
That's right.
That's how I
That's
first got
right.
on Facebook myself.
Oh, well, what do you know? Oh boy. So I don't know what the labor shortage is caused by. I mean, but I definitely know it's affecting
Well,
businesses.
I'm going to bring up an article that was actually off of NPR from just about this time last year to see what some people's opinion was.
You hear the fireworks going off.
Oh, yeah, you can already hear it.
Pop, pop.
All right. Low pay, no benefits, and rude customers. Restaurant workers quit at a record rate.
Hmm.
Gives a little background on this gentleman. Let's see. Some of the reasons he was wanting to quit the restaurant industry at the time was breaks barely long enough to use the restroom or smoke a cigarette, meals inhaled on the go, hostile bosses, crazy schedules, and paltry stagnant pay. To
Hmm.
top it off, rude customers who abuses restaurant staff and are often obligated to tolerate, and lately testy diners who have only gotten more impatient as they emerge from the pandemic shutdowns,
Hmm.
which is the reason, going back to the sign that we first put up about, hey, we're all short staffed, please be patient. You
Right.
still have people that have no idea what a lot of these restaurants are going through and are still rude as hell to these people.
Yeah. Well, they don't know how to be humans,
Yeah. You, you,
decent
you just you,
humans.
you just want to look at them and go, how would you feel if you were working that type of job and you're short staffed and you're having to take care of all these customers at a
Hmm.
very fast pace? And, let's say, oh, they forgot the fries. And then you look in your bag and say, oh, hey, forgot the fries. No big deal. They go get the fries and bring it to you. And, it's over and done with. You have some people that will just go out of their
Hmm.
minds because you forgot something from their order.
Yeah. How
Never
dare you?
never mind the 20 people behind you. You know
Hmm.
what?
It's all about them.
Right. And I've even gotten to the point to where I'm like, you know, hey, if I look in there and something's missing, I'll say something to them, but not in a rude way. I'll just say, hey, I think I'm supposed to have some fries in here. No big, they're like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry about that. And I'm like, no, it's no big deal. I understand.
Yeah. Well,
But it, it's to the point to where people just, they don't understand what other people are going through and they don't want to.
no, they don't want to. That's a very good point because everything's about them and they could care less about how anybody else is doing.
Yeah, because I know it's something you and I have talked about before. It seems like, after everybody started coming out of the pandemic, you had more and more people that were just ruder than
Hmm.
ever.
Yeah. Almost like, and it's almost like an insanity that passed over. Being cooped up in your house does have an effect, but I wonder if overall, just everything that's happened the past couple of years has not had a significant effect. Um, which makes me think about the Facebook memes that some people have been putting up lately. Like, I wonder, I ask myself, why would you put this up on Facebook?
Oh,
Why?
oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
it's all about you, isn't it? You just want to throw your opinion in front of somebody else's face. Okay.
Right. Right. It's,
Okay.
I'm entitled to my opinion, but, you know, if you don't agree with my opinion, then you're a whatever. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
whole list of things they
There's a
want to call
whole
people. But
litany of words. Yeah.
tell you what, let's go ahead and get into them.
Yeah, let's look at some of those cuz
I'm
some of
gonna
them
go
are
ahead.
just gold.
I want to go ahead and pull some of these bad boys up. Since it is the 4th of July and we have a litany of people who are
Hmm.
so angry.
So angry. So
I keep thinking of Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool going, so angry.
angry.
I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of these bad boys and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, this is a good one.
4th of
Fourth of
July canceled. Can't exactly celebrate freedom when it's being taken away. That was the sound of my eyes rolling.
I just love this one.
Look, I I get it. I get it. You there are a certain section of the population that believe that their rights were taken away with Roe v. Wade, even though it's nowhere in the Constitution, which was the ruling.
Mm-hmm.
But really, where else are you going to get the kind of freedoms that you have in this country?
Right. That's
Because
exactly right.
there are certain countries where if you speak out against any level of the government, you're automatically they'll shut down your social media to where
Oh,
you cannot get into social media at all.
right, right. Oh, that reminds me of a book, but I can't remember the title of it, so I won't. I'll try not.
1984.
I started listening to that a
That's
couple of
my
weeks ago.
favorite.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. I only got to about a third of the way through. I haven't finished all of it yet because I was like, I can't listen to it anymore. This is too realistic.
Oh yeah,
It
if
was
you want to be freaked out, go back and listen to
it was
1984.
freaking me out, and I had to stop listening to it. It's like
But that was the kind of thing from the Paul Harvey interview, or
mm-hmm.
you know
His
his segment
editorial,
always
yeah,
called the rest of the story
that's right, yeah.
is he he was talking about something back in 1965 that if you listen closely and then imagine he's speaking now, it hits on all the same topics. History
Yeah.
repeating itself. It's I'm not going to get into the specifics of it because I really want people to go back and listen to it, but it's just it really is amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Plus, he was such a great orator. He really had a way with his delivery. Every word had depth and meaning, and it wasn't this fluff stuff that's out now.
No. Let's
He really
see.
did.
Hey, waste time for me while I pull this up.
I'm trying to find that book that I had read about the North Korean. I can't remember it, but it does remind me that I listened to NPR. I'm sorry. It's one of my guilty sins.
Hey man, it's all
It's
good.
because sometimes they have good stories, and I remember hearing this story about North Korea had kidnapped an actress. I don't remember how many years ago, but it was their dictator had really had this infatuation with this actress and had her kidnapped. And she had to create an elaborate escape. And it sounds like fiction, but it's a real story too. I can't remember the name of that either. I obviously have memory problems.
All right, here we go for it. Here's another one. My dear, religion is like a penis. It is a perfectly fine thing for one to have and take pride in. But when one takes it out and waves it in my face, we have a problem.
Oh, this was a funny Facebook post.
On its face, I don't have a problem with this.
I don't either. I really don't either. On its face, I don't.
I understand what the meaning is behind it,
Yeah.
but on its face, do I really want somebody else? And here's the thing: religion is not just, in my viewpoint, religion is not just one of your basic, you know, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Religion can also be what people would think of as what they now call a culture.
Mm. Yeah.
A lot of times that can be a religion because it's
Yeah.
you have a mass of people believing in one thing.
Yes. Um, much like what's occurring now with the whole we just got through it, Pride Month.
Right.
I've made
It's
the argument, and it's just an argument, that could this be a form of religion? Like a doctrine.
right.
Maybe not religion, but a doctrine, definitely.
And when I say culture, I don't mean like an ethnic culture. I
No.
mean like a an ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what all the major religions are, is they're an ideal. They believe in a certain set of things and will defend it to sometimes to the death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And commit acts of violence in defense of their religion.
Right.
Yeah.
Taking to the streets to promote violence or start violence or what.
Mm-hmm.
You you could even say groups like the Pride Boys or Antifa are a religion.
You could certainly try to make that argument. I'm not eloquent enough to do it, but someone certainly could.
All right.
But that was an interesting one because I agree with that. I'm like, but then again, so that was on Facebook, and I'm sure it was in response to someone else having put something else on Facebook, probably about, I believe in babies' lives or something, or I'm a Christian and I believe in that abortion is morally wrong, and if we're using Facebook as a sounding board for your opinions, then, people can do that. They can express their opinions. I
Well,
prefer to think of
yeah. Go
face
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say I prefer to think of Facebook as kind of like your hometown paper where you put things that happen in your life, and no opinion. It's not the editorial section. It's just the hometown paper.
To me, Facebook and Twitter are more like the hometown water tower. Where you get up there and spray paint on there, Bubba loves Jenny.
Put up some graffiti.
Right, right. That to me, that's what social media is. It's the hometown water tower. It's like everybody sees it. Most of the time, it's an eyesore. Nobody really cares. Because
I
look,
like that.
if you have ever had your opinion changed by somebody on social media, I'd love to meet the first person that actually affected.
I know. Oh, goodness.
And
Yeah.
and look, we're not on here to change anybody's mind. We're not
No.
on here to form anybody's opinion. We're just on here talking about it. Well, because we can.
Yep. Pretty much.
All right, here's another one. If it'll come on, cooperate now. There we go.
Clickety click.
Clickety click. Time to ban Viagra because if pregnancy is God's will, then so is your limp dick. There are plenty of ways to prevent pregnancy. I'm sorry.
There are so many ways. We talked about that with our very first episode.
you know, hey, maybe they got a point here, but the fact of the matter is that there's plenty of ways to prevent pregnancy, and you know, some people just choose not to. Well, it doesn't feel right. Well, that's the
Mm,
chance you take. If you want to
that's,
play with the wheel of fortune, you go right ahead.
that's right. That's right. Well, yeah. That one's funny.
That one. I when I saw that on Facebook, I died laughing. I died laughing so badly.
Does it take some work to get that organ functioning sometimes?
Hey man, of course, I'm sure that what that is really, who that's really supposed to attack are these old men who can't get it up, so they have to do that to they picture some old man and some innocent little thing and blah blah blah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah, I'm
Ew.
sure. At least I hope that's what they're really targeting is those kind of people. Jeez.
I don't know. Everybody needs a trophy wife.
Exactly. Everybody
How
needs a
else
trophy
is the
wife.
fella gonna keep her? Not just his money.
All right, here's another one. This is hilarious. MAGA mom. I would
Oh.
never let my children go to a drag show. The children, which I think that's creepy as fuck too. So
It is creepy as fuck. And uh, mm, I don't
go
watch
ahead.
those shows. I don't watch those shows, so I have no idea. Are those moms? Are those pageant moms MAGA moms? I just thought they were sick and twisted.
I don't know because a lot of people when they think of pageants, they think of the South,
I guess
so
so.
they automatically think, oh well, they're a Trump supporter, they're a MAGA mom, blah blah blah.
Well, I
And I'm
mean,
and I'm just like, yeah, but those are the people you don't really want to be around, and I find those shows creepy as hell.
exactly,
I'm
exactly.
like, anytime I see a little kid that's not allowed to be a little kid and they dress them
Yeah,
up like this, I just want to be like, what is wrong with you?
yeah. What's wrong with a parent?
Of
What's wrong
course,
with both parents
well,
to
of
allow
course,
it?
I know what's wrong with the parents. It's like you know, mom and dad at the ball field yelling at the
Yeah.
kid. They're trying to, live their life through their kids' sports. Well,
Mm.
this is the same thing.
Ugh.
A lot of
Ugh.
times it's the mamas you know, trying to live their life and their expectations through their own child.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Oh,
been
it's good
plenty.
for them. Nah, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
It's maybe good for the therapists that are going to be treating him later.
Oh my gosh.
Guaranteed
This
work.
this is why therapists make a lot of money. Oh my goodness. Oh
Yeah,
my
I've never
goodness.
watched that show, Toddlers and Tiaras.
Ugh.
I can't.
I don't
I
blame you.
can't watch that crap.
I don't blame you. Here we go. This one kind of takes a shot at both sides.
What'd you find?
I apologize to everybody for taking so long, but I'm a little slow at this, so deal with it.
Clickety click.
Deal with it.
Clackety clack. It's good. I've got a dog over here making noises, so I'm
All
sure
right,
that's coming through.
you ready?
Yeah. Oh. People from Idaho driving to Washington for weed and abortions.
Passing.
People passing. People
The
from Washington driving to Idaho for magazines and ammo.
It's not just one side, it's both. Like the sooner we start to realize we're all human, the better off we're gonna be.
Yeah.
We all we're all screwed up. I'm screwed up. Diva screwed up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Our buddy the expert screwed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's everybody has stuff going on with them, and that when you start to kind of understand that, it makes your life so much easier.
Yeah. Or if people could just live with a little bit of grace, just a little bit of grace and forgiveness. Going
Oh,
back to the what?
why start now?
It's like the restaurant workers, if the people weren't such rude assholes, maybe it wouldn't be so hard to do their job because that really does have an effect.
All right. In the kind of in the vein of
What'd you find?
the past week, some of our calls to action here.
Yeah. What we got? Oh.
I would like all the women in my life to stop for a minute, take a long, deep breath, and burn everything to the fucking ground. Of course,
And burn everything to the fucking ground.
well, here's the problem I have with this.
Yeah.
I'm not always the best at grammar when I type out stuff and I type out emails, but when I do see it in others, it does drive me crazy. This is, this is
Yeah,
taking
that
the
is
human
bad.
element out of me. But it says, and burn everything to fucking the ground.
Oh,
Not
it does.
burn everything to the fucking ground.
Holy cow. That's so funny how your brain plays tricks on you. I put to the fucking ground in my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, and that's, when you first read it, that's kind of the way you play it in
Yeah.
your head, but so you're going to burn everything and fucking the ground.
To fucking the ground. Oh, that's
That's your
hilarious.
plan? Okay. I'd love to see this. I'm sure there'll be a TikTok video about it.
Burn everything
Burn,
to fucking the ground.
burn everything to fucking the ground.
I'm getting a mental image of it too. Like everything's burning around you, and then somebody's got a glory hole in the dirt.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. Oh.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right.
That's
Let's see. Whoops.
I know.
Sorry,
I was trying to
folks.
be so proper last week. I didn't cuss, and here I am this week. Oh well.
Oh well.
Oh
All
well.
right.
What you got? What you got?
If it'll cooperate. Jeez. Oh, I know what the problem is. Live
Operator
radio,
error.
folks. Live radio.
Live radio. It is like live radio.
Right. Jeez. Sorry, I'm inept. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry.
And whenever I notice that somebody's struggling with something, I just get really quiet. And that way I'm not distracting them. Because I have a tendency to be slightly distracting.
There we go. Jesus.
But when you're on, live,
When you're
broadcast,
live, you just have to,
I can't be quiet. I have to fill the dead air.
I know, and I'm trying to concentrate. So.
I know, and I'm distracting you, and I know I'm distracting you.
No, it's funny. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Anybody ever see The Handmaid's Tale?
I thought my opinion of that show, again, it was inane and poorly written and a horrible plot line. And it was only women that watched it.
Right.
Just like 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was the worst movie I think I've ever attempted to watch. It was so bad. So bad.
Why do you need that when there are so many free options out there?
Well, it was so bad. Like, well, it was barely above a B porno. It was. It was so bad.
Barely above a B porno. I love that.
And Handmaid's Tale was just. So there is one premise that show does discuss, which is infertility of women.
Right.
That is real. That is a real thing. Now, will it evolve into something that the Handmaid's Tale has warped into the imagination of American females?
Oh, it already has. It already has.
Well, when you have men that are women and women that are men, and what is it they call women now, or men? Men that are actually women that can carry babies. What?
Yeah.
There's a term for it.
I'm not. That's out of my depth.
That's
above my pay grade. way above my pay grade.
So, this is kind of, I bet if any of this that's happening in reality now was written as fiction just about 50 years ago, that men would be women and women would be men, and there would be birthing humans, and um
There's plenty of people that would buy the book. They wouldn't believe it was real.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, here I got another one for you.
Okay.
Come on. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Teachers,
yeah.
the Supreme Court just ruled you can lead your students in prayer. I hope you're all prepared to uphold and honor that decision. Bring out your prayer rug, your pentagrams, your herbs and tarot cards, your Quran, your Tanka, your Talmud, your ram's horn, your Star of David, your Baphomet, your Satanic Bible, your altars, your Tibetan prayer wheel, your Book of Shadows.
Hmm.
Now, I know what that was supposed to take a shot at, the fact that we used to have prayer in school, or at least when I was in school, we had a moment of silence and we did
Right.
the Pledge of Allegiance, so
Yeah.
on and so forth. But I guess they're just trying to take a shot at it. But, I'm here saying, yeah, let them.
Let
Go
them.
ahead.
If a kid wants to pray, like that coach that was, um, the Supreme Court ruled on that coach's decision to pray at the football games,
Right.
and how actually the state was overstepping by preventing him from having the ability to pray. That was an overstep of the state
Right.
in doing that.
Well, that's
And
what
that's
they were.
what the Supreme Court ruled,
Well,
that the state overstepped.
you have a lot of people that thought that there was a separation of church and state, meaning you cannot have any religion in the state whatsoever. Well, that's not what the First Amendment is. What the First Amendment says is that the government cannot prevent the exercise of religion.
Exactly.
And many people took that as, well, there shouldn't be any kind of religion in any government body whatsoever. Well,
Right.
that's not what it says. I'm sure
No.
there are other people that interpret it completely differently, and that's fine. But that is, I guess I'm more of a strict constitutionalist.
Yeah. How
All
dare
right,
you?
how dare me? All right, here's the next one.
Oh. Mm.
I guess this is supposed to symbolize the Supreme Court holding women down or holding them down.
Yeah, there's several
I don't.
connotations that you could take
Yeah,
from this picture.
yeah. There was a
And
couple I took from it.
yeah. Yeah. Again, this is where I feel like people need a civics lesson to understand the three branches of government and to understand what each branch does. And the Supreme Court's role is to uphold the Constitution
Well,
whenever there's an issue.
and here's the what we had discussed last time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kind of go back to it. All the Supreme Court said was the government is not going to interfere in states deciding how they are going to handle this issue.
Yeah, that's it.
They're going to allow each individual state. And I would say that if you want those rights in your state, what you need to do is you need to get onto your state legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are a hell of a lot more accessible than the US
Yes.
Congress.
Yes. Yes.
Look, I've gone to DC. And when I went up there, spent quite a few days up there and actually, went in and out of the Senate building and met with some of the dignitaries up there.
Did you go on January 6th?
No, I didn't. I was nowhere near there. I was at home. I don't, I don't do that. I don't go to protests. I don't go to
Mm-mm.
rallies. I don't, I just sit here and judge from home. So
Armchair quarterback
our
it.
armchair quarterback the whole damn
Yeah.
thing. That's right. But the whole time I was up there, I was like, oh my God, this is modern day Rome. This
Mm-hmm.
place is so removed from the rest of the
Yes.
country.
Yes.
It's so removed because when you're up there, you're just kind of you feel like you're in your own little land.
Yeah. It's
because
completely different.
you have Congress, you have the Supreme Court, you have all the monuments, you have the White House, you have everything that kind of goes on there, and um, they have their own thing going on there. I guess you could say it's culture, but it is so far removed
Mm-hmm.
from the rest of the country that honestly, it's better that the states rule on these issues anyway,
Yeah.
because in the states they're a lot more tied to the individual people there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I saw a brief little, I didn't read the full article, but I just saw a tagline that many, many states now are going to have abortion um, legislation for up for vote soon in this
Yeah,
coming election.
and they should.
And they should. That's the point of it.
You
That
know,
way the people can decide.
the US Congress is the epitome of what the United States is. The United States is not a democracy. The United States is a constitutional republic,
Hmm.
meaning we elect officials to go to Washington to quote unquote represent us and vote on these bills and take these measures and so on and so forth. Really, where democracy speaks out is in the individual states, because a lot of times those congressmen, they're not in the states. Of course, I don't know how it works in California, but I know here in Tennessee, a lot of those people are doing that job part time, and then they're having to tend to their business. So I mean,
Yeah.
they're a part of the community,
Yeah. They're still a part of the community.
right? I've known quite a few politicians from here, and they're just they have their own main business that they're concentrated on, but they happen to go to Nashville to to be able to vote on measures, to be able to
Hmm.
do this, that, and the other.
Yeah. The state legislators, state
Right.
house and state senate. Yeah.
Right. So if people talk about wanting change and needing change, all politics are local.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
have to start at the local level. You have to start at the state level. That's really the only way you're going to be able to get things done.
Hmm. Do you have any more of those Facebook?
I have one more, which we will pull up, and it's probably my favorite, and it's probably the most full of truth. One of my favorite people in the entire history of the world, Mark Twain.
Very nice.
Patriotism is supporting your country all the time and your government when it deserves it. And
I like that.
I absolutely agree with this,
Completely agree. Because this,
because
you can change this country.
right,
Sadly, it's been changed. I mean, it's constantly evolving. We may not like the direction, but we can change it.
right. It's if you don't like something that's going on, vote the people out. They're
Yeah.
obviously not doing the job that they're paid to.
Yeah. That you hired them to do. When you cast your vote, you are actually hiring somebody to do a job.
Right. And saying, you're going up there representing me. If you don't represent me, you're going to lose your job.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's some of that labor shortage needs to.
Yeah, the labor shortage needs to happen in Congress.
Yeah.
Because look, it's kind of like the thing, you've seen a lot of people right now, especially on the left, arguing about doing away with the filibuster. Well,
Oh yeah.
back when back when the Republicans were in control of Congress, some I know some people pulled up videos of past Democrat speaker or not speakers but senators and representatives talking about, well, we can't get rid of the filibuster. It allows the minority to be able to speak their voice.
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
it's funny because and both sides do it. I've seen the Republicans do it just as much as the Democrats, where they will, if they are not in power, they will bitch about not having measures in place, but when they're in power, They want absolute power and they want to
Yeah.
shut out the other side.
Yeah.
Both of them have done it.
Both of them. Both of them have done it. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we, the people, are essentially the third party, and we have all of the power to decide who's in place to make our decisions.
Right.
It doesn't happen with this mob mentality. It happens with a vote.
Absolutely right. So we're going to end it on that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we will hopefully see you next week. Happy 4th, everybody.
Happy 4th.